All right, let's dive right into this. Welcome to today's explainer, where we're going to take the sometimes dense, technical steps of network authentication and transform them into a clear, easy-to-follow visual guide. Today, we are mastering LDAP SSO authentication on the Sangfor IAG device. Look, if you manage a network, you already know how absolutely crucial it is to balance hardcore security with a frictionless user experience. Our goal today is to give you the exact structural knowledge you need to make that happen. Here's our quick roadmap for today. We're going to look at the basics of single sign-on, demystify integrated Windows authentication, get the IAG device prepped, and finally, deploy that logon script. Let's get to it. Section 1, Welcome to Single Sign-On. So before we start clicking around in any admin interfaces, we really need to understand what we're actually doing here. At its core, single sign-on, or SSO, is basically a VIP pass for your network. Think about it. If you've already got an authentication system set up like Active Directory, your Sangfor IAG can literally just hook right into it. It grabs the user's identity based on their IP address. And the payoff? When your users open their browsers to hit the internet, boom, the network already knows who they are. No more of those super frustrating prompts asking for usernames and passwords 5 times a day. Now, based on our source material, the Sangfor IAG actually handles this VIP treatment in a few different ways. Script SSO, Domain SSO, and IWA SSO, which, by the way, is specifically supported on Microsoft Active Directory domains. Today, we're really going to zero in on setting up that script-based deployment and figuring out the actual nuts and bolts behind these seamless logins. Moving right along to Section 2, Demystifying IWA Authentication. Okay, let's look under the hood. Integrated Windows Authentication, or IWA, relies on 2 completely invisible heavy lifters to create that VIP experience, NTLM and Kerberos. Kerberos uses this really slick, secure ticketing system to verify who you are, while NTLM is kind of the trusty fallback, using a cryptographic challenge and response. But here's the cool part. Whichever one your environment is running, IWA fires them off totally seamlessly the second a user opens their browser. And opening that browser kicks off this crazy 8-step secret conversation in the background. It's like a rapid-fire handshake between the user's PC, the Sangfor IAG, which is basically acting as the network's bouncer, and your Active Directory server, which holds the master list of credentials. Let's break this handshake down step by step. All right, first half of the conversation. Step 1, the PC tries to hit the internet. Step 2, the IAG stops it cold and basically says, hold up, I need some ID. In Step 3, the PC automatically shoots back the username and domain name. And then Step 4, the IAG turns around and forwards those credentials straight to the AD server. That's the initial challenge response, and it all happens in literal milliseconds. Now let's see how this builds into actual cryptography. In Step 5, the AD server doesn't just say, yep, they're good. It actually fires a complex math challenge back to the IAG. Step 6, the IAG passes that challenge down to the PC. Step 7, the PC flexes its muscles, solves it, and sends the cryptographic response back, along with the domain info. Finally, Step 8, the IAG hands that secure, encrypted answer over to the AD server. If the math checks out, the user gets full, seamless access. All right, that's the theory. Let's shift gears from the textbook to the server room. Section 3, Preparing the IAG device. Time to get our hands dirty in the interface. Step 1 is laying down the rules. You're going to navigate through Access Management, drop down to Authentication, hit Web Authentication, and pop open the authentication policy. You want to add a brand new policy here. Make absolutely sure the auth method is set explicitly to single sign-on and point your external auth server to your LDAP server. This is what tells the IAG exactly how to handle that incoming traffic. Step 2, we need to point the IAG to your actual domain controller. Staying right there in the Web Authentication menu, go over to Auth Server and add a new LDAP server. Pick MS Active Directory as the type. Now you've got to punch in the exact IP address of your AD server, like 192.168.20.89, for example. You'll also need to drop in the administrator credentials and the correct base DN. Think of the base DN as the starting line in your directory tree. It just ensures the IAG actually has the authority and the right pathway to query your domain. Which brings us to our final phase, Section 4, Deploying the Logon Script. Okay, so the IAG is listening, it's pointing at the right server. Now we bridge the gap. Over in the single sign-on settings under Web Authentication, find the MS AD domain category. Here is the absolute most crucial part. You have to check the specific box that says Obtain Login Profile by executing logon script through domain. Don't forget to define a shared key here too. That simple little checkbox is exactly what tells the Sangfor device, hey, expect a script to be running. But what is this script actually doing behind the scenes? Well, it's really pretty elegant. Sangfor gives you this specific user logon script. Once you deploy it, whenever your users start their day and log into their Windows accounts, this script just quietly wakes up in the background. It generates a totally secure logon packet and lobs it right at the IAG device. The IAG catches it, matches it to the config we just built, and bam, identity authenticated, instantly. And the best part? You can push this out to your entire network without ever touching a single user's keyboard. You do it through group policy. Just log into your AD server, pull up Group Policy Management, drill down into User Configuration, then Policies, and right under Windows Settings, you just bind that Sangfor script to your logon and logoff scripts. As soon as that policy pushes out, your SSO integration is 100% live.
And just like that, we're done. You've taken a highly complex 8-step cryptographic handshake and turned it into a completely invisible, frictionless experience for your users. We covered the invisible magic of IWA, got the IAG configured step-by-step, and pushed the script via group policy. So I leave you with this. With LDAP SSO now handling the heavy lifting and saving everyone the headache of typing passwords all day, what are you going to optimize next on your network?